Hey crafters, Tanya here with another video series. This time it is the Festival of Fall with my crafty friends. And we are going to concentrate on fresh starts this time. I'm going to start off with Picket Fence Studios Run, Walk, Crawl stamp set. Has amazing sentiments, but we're not going to use any of the sentiments that came with this stamp set this time. So I am inking up this set of shoes in Hero Art's Intense Black ink, and I maybe didn't need to stamp it 2 or 3 times, but I did. Later I will run into problems because the humidity is super high here right now, and I didn't wait long enough for that ink to dry, so it smeared a little bit when I was doing the toes, but that's okay. If you want to know which Copic colors I used, I did put those across the top of the screen. And I am going to lay down the lightest color first. And turns out I really didn't need to do that. For the second shoe, I do lay down, I'm not going to make you watch all of it, just part of it. Well, you don't have to watch any of it, but I'm only going to show part of it, one shoe. And I'm going to, with the second one, I'm going to lay down the darkest color first and work towards the lightest. It takes a whole lot less time, but this one I used the lightest. I laid down the lightest color first and then went back with the darker colors and blended those out. I did think about making these rainbow blended, but that sounded like way too much work. Might have to do that for a different video or for a different card. I don't have to video them all. Speaking of, I did make 2 more cards that are going to be in this video. However, I did not videotape them because I was just playing with some new product. And I always regret it when I don't video because then I wish I had. There are some cards that I've made that I wish I had, but I didn't video. And I'm just not going to go back and do that. I just am not. Anyway, so this one I did take the cards and highlight some of the features that I did with them. But back to this card. I think that new shoes are like the first thing that happens with school. The first thing I always got the kids was new shoes, and I'd make sure they had winter clothes that would fit that year. And frequently by Christmas, my boys would have busted through their first pair of shoes. But yeah, we were kind of poor then. They frequently had to wear holey shoes for a while. Yeah. And then poor Dakota. Boy, that child from the age of 9 until 15, his shoes were the same size as his age. I was so glad his feet stopped growing. And he's only 6'1", but he has size 15 shoes. Holy bananas. I think I've mentioned this before, especially when I do a Sasquatch card, because he is our Sasquatch. He's furry, he's big, and he has giant feet and hands. You don't want him to give you a high five. Your hand stings for like 5 minutes. He doesn't know his own strength. All right. I did add some silver screen marker to that, and boy, I'm just zipping through here. So I used my A7 double stitch dies to cut that out. This is a 5x7 card as per usual for me. We're doing some white heat embossing with a sentiment from the Fall Frenchies stamp set, and we're using some nested banners dies to cut those out. Those both came out in the Stamptember release last year, and Stamptember is coming again. I should budget for that. I'm using some coaster blanks to add some dimension to this card, and I lost my train of thought. Yep, just gonna glue this to the 5x7 card front, and I'll add that sentiment to the front also. If you have, I love those fall Frenchies. That's where my brain's going. Yep, I love those fall Frenchies, and I have colored a bunch of those images, which zipped right by you. You probably didn't even get to focus on them. But I'm sure I'll be making a whole bunch of cards with those images that I've cut out and colored already. So I also am using the Be an Original stamp set from My Favorite Things and add that to the inside of the card with some VersaFine Onyx Black. All right, this is the first card that I did not do a video for. So I'm going to use some packaging from a stamp set, and I'm going to trim it down to about the size that I need. And I chose the wrong part. I should have chose the end that had that one long side sealed also, but c'est la vie. Here it is. And this is that bag sealer that I was talking about on a previous video that I ordered from Amazon. And this is my first time using it. I used it on the card, but this is my first time demonstrating it. So you can't start on the very edge. You turn it on and you select your setting, and this is the lowest setting. The higher, there are 2 more settings, and it will melt. It'll just cut right through if you go with a higher setting. And I'm sealing one edge, so you start somewhere in the, away from the edge closest to, in my case, my left hand. And then you have to go back, and I try to peek at what I'm doing and line up so I'm on the same track. There we go. See that? So there is overlap when I stop and start. And then you flip it over and you finish and go to the other end. And then you have 2 sealed edges. And then we're going to pop some sequins in that. I should have, well, no, I mean, woulda, shoulda, coulda. Just going to add some sequins, which are from my stash, and this is about the size I would have needed for the card, but since this is just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to trim that end off so I don't have to put so many sequins in it. And then you seal up the last side. Now, a smart thing to do is to make sure you have about 1 inch of plastic that you aren't using on each edge so that your pocket will fit. When you put cardstock over the top of it, it'll fit nice and flush. I did not do that on mine. Those 2 pink panels on the sides, I did put a piece of coaster blank behind each of them, but there were still sequins trying to push through underneath those, so it doesn't lay as flat as I would like. Now, next we're going to use the Special Teacher die set and stamp set from MFT Stamps and some mirror cardstock from Tonic. This is the, well, the first one we looked at was Holo Waves, then it is Spring Silver, and then Petal Pink. I'm just using the Holo Waves because I haven't used that on a card yet. I just wanted to show you how easy these are to put together. So I cut 1 layer with vellum, 1 layer with white cardstock, 1 layer with the Holo Waves, or any of the mirror cardstock. You can use whatever you want. I'm using my pokey tool, my die release tool. This one I got from Concord and 9th. And my reverse tweezers to hang on to this, and some Barely Art precision glue. I'm only putting it on the thick parts of the letters, and I will carefully position that on the second layer, and it goes together so fast. This is only double time, so it really takes just a few seconds to put that together. And I'll put a little more of that glue on the back of the white layer and glue that to the vellum. And then I do take a piece of coaster blank that I've die cut with the second layer die, and I'll glue that to the back, and we have an instant dimensional, beautiful sentiment feature. There are several stamps that coordinate with this die set, and it does even have a large sentiment that you can stamp the word teacher with. So you'd only have to do 2 if you wanted, or no die cuts. And I did gold heat emboss all of these sentiments on the fronts and then inside. Now for the second card, I'm using the Spellbinders Glimmer of the Month kit. I think it's called Have a Crafty Day. And that is Glimmer hot foiled in Prism hot foil. that is it for those cards. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so that you get notified of every video that I create. If you haven't subscribed to me in my other areas, check it out. I've got a list of the other social media accounts I have, if you'd like to follow those. If you're interested in any of the product I use today, there are clickable links in the description box below. To everyone who has been using my affiliate links, I really appreciate it. Please leave me a comment. Let me know. If I know you've ordered through my links, I will send you a card. Thank you. Bye-bye now.